All right, good evening, everybody. This is the Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission. Today is June 18th, 2025. Lucas Thomas, Peter Hood, Jay Fain, Don Salo, Heather Rosenthal, Ted Luxinger, and Diane Saunders are here. We can stand, please. There it is, okay. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Justice for all.
All right. Do I need to appoint who's not here? Two? I'll appoint Diane and Heather. They're full. Okay. All right. Moving on. Conservation Commission meeting of May 21st, 2025. Do any commissioners have any comments or correction? No? All right. We'll listen to approve. Diane, any second? Good. All in favor? Aye. Yay. All right, going on to new business. Rule 5, one presentation of certificate of recognition. So before I even do this, I just kind of want to say, and the commissioners, I think you'll back me up on this, that over the years now, one particular commissioner here has gone above and beyond in audiovisual technology that assists us when we go out on these sidewalks. And those are all uploaded to our files, right? And everybody else can see.
Yeah.
I still can't figure out how this individual puts in the distances and the arrows and all of that.
I'm wondering.
He makes them up. So I'd like Commissioner Hood. This little award for all the good things that you do for us.
That is
Thank
cool.
you. So it is awesome.
That's great.
Who are we talking about?
I was like, what are they talking? That's very nice. Thank you so much. But I do it because it's fun.
All right, well, that's a good thing for you. Moving on to number 2. 219 Ash Creek Boulevard, informational request for temporary placement of 18-inch sanitary sewer line within a conservation easement during the East Trunk Line project.
Can I ask a question about this?
Yeah.
Is there something to vote on for this? If it's just informational, if it's something to vote on, I think I'll step out. I don't have a conflict, but I don't want later on that there would even be that kind of.
Okay. I think we would need to vote on it.
Okay, I'll just take a break for a few minutes.
Okay. Is anybody here?
No.
I don't see anybody. There's nobody up there that we don't see, is there?
Yeah, there's Rabab Hussain and someone on their iPhone. They don't have a name.
This or?
Oh, Eli.
Oh, it's Eli. Okay.
7.
Yeah. Okay.
He could be on mute.
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Commission. How you doing? Thanks for having me here tonight. I believe, Tim, just to confirm, you have provided the map to the commission.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So the map that's in front of you is part of the East Trunk Line sewer replacement project. So we are exactly in the wetlands crossing there. And we need to implement a bypass of the sewer line, which means we will be pumping the sewer out of one manhole and into a further manhole, pumping it back in further downstream. In order to do this, after conversations with the contractor, he originally proposed installing some H-piles, but that would require us to go back to Connecticut Deep and require more permits.
I appreciate you know, effort getting right into it, but can you just state your name and what relationship, so for the record?
Apologies. Yes, Eli Gazal. I'm the Capital Projects and Operations Manager for the town of Fairfield.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No worries. So again, it's a bypass. We're sucking sewer from one manhole and pumping it into the neck, into one further downstream. And in order to do this, we will be running an 18-inch line over what they call the walk bridge over on Kennard Street there at the end of Kennard Street. And so when I brought this to Tim's attention, he suggested that we present to the board. And so Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, there's an easement.
Correct. This is within the conservation easement.
That's for colors. These are better. If you want to pass them down, you can really see it's the red line. Now, one of the questions that I have, and I'm sure the commissioners would as well. The reason you're doing this is because it alleviates the need to go to deep. Hello?
Did we lose them?
No, I'm here.
No. Did you, so what is the reason that you're doing this? Is there a reason that you?
Yeah, the reason is for the East Trunk Line sewer replacement.
Right. I was under the understanding that if you kind of cut through, you would need to go to deep to get approvals.
Correct. Yeah, in order, because of it's such a wide span to go through the wetlands crossing, we will need to drive H piles that are outside into the tidal wetlands, and so we would need to go back to the state in order to request permits, which will further delay the project. So we're trying to avoid that, and the best way to do that is to run the 18-inch bypass pipe through the conservation easement.
Right. Okay, so that's the reason why you're here, because you want to avoid the deep, and you're in front of us to ask to do it on the conservation easement.
Correct.
And how is this for the whole time of the East Trunk project, or is it for a specific or shorter amount of time?
No, it'll be for the entire duration of the project, which is estimated to be about 18 months.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions. So this is the conservation easement that was associated with the new railroad station and the environment development.
Yes.
And this is the conservation easement that we, I think a couple years ago in March, that we approved the extension of time, but we did so with the caveat that they would initiate the restoration of this conservation easement area because it's in poor shape and they haven't been doing the maintenance and the other stuff that they were supposed to do there.
Correct.
And have they done any of that?
It is not right now, no. And this is also the same area where when the commission acts as the agency approved a permit for work within regulated area of inland wetlands on the other side of the riprap, which divides tidal from inland.
Correct. So I guess the question I'm getting at is,
It's still unmaintained.
it's still unmaintained, but this particular project, we have no leverage on this particular project. That maintenance.
This is the town asking to go over.
I know,
not
I
the,
understand
not
that,
the-
but we still hold the easement.
Yeah.
You,
Right, but I just wanted to get some clarification on that, so. Is there any impact, there would be any mitigation?
I think that could be, executed through enforcement of that easement. The maintenance, there is a maintenance agreement that the current ownership, which has changed hands
Right.
since.
But they're not, we don't have it, but this entity, the town, they're not gonna do any work or not gonna do.
I don't think, Eli, there's no restoration plans is part of this. The original approval?
No, not in the easement.
And are you getting permission from the owner of the property too to do this, or you're just asking our permission?
No, Mark Barnhart is asking permission from the property owners. Yes, we have been in contact with them.
Okay, I just wanted to get some clarification on that. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions, commissioners? Comments? Yep.
Also, just for clarification that Eli may or may not have stated, the pipe is going to go on, just basically rest on the existing Trex boardwalk. So there's no impacts as far as land disturbance
Right.
for this, for this request. Obviously, the whole access to that space will be restricted to hiking, but it's having the pipe on the on the boardwalk doesn't matter because it's closed anyway, so. The pedestrians,
It's closed because,
because it'll be a construction site.
oh, it's closed because of this,
Yes,
not closed otherwise.
correct. It will be closed. Is it closed is it fenced off yet, Eli? I know they were.
Not
mobilized.
yet, no.
Okay.
Yep. They started to mobilize earlier this week, but not officially closed off yet.
Thank you.
Okay.
So can I just,
Yeah.
I just summarizing, so the town is asking us to move a pipe 18 inches.
We don't move the pipe.
I mean, they are gonna just
They're gonna bypass an existing pipe.
bypassing by 18 inches.
No,
No.
they're gonna use an 18-inch
18-inch
pipe.
pipe.
They're gonna put.
Ah,
How
yeah,
long is
how-
that?
The bigger,
pipe?
it's in that,
That's why I'm,
the red line
uh,
in those pictures.
yes,
That would be the road of that's where the pipe would be laid out.
We're gonna lay out a temporary sewer pipe, basically above ground.
above ground.
Yeah.
And they're gonna pump from one manhole to the other manhole while they replace the existing one underground.
Clear it out, be able to replace the pipe.
We'll replace it.
Any other questions, comments, clarifications? Is there a motion to allow the town to do this and along, as visually depicted in that photograph?
Make the motion that we allow I guess they're asking us as the conservation easement
Easement
holders
holder. Allow them
to allow this activity, and I make the motion that we should allow this. I think it's the least impactful alternative. Other alternatives would be more impactful.
Okay, any second to that?
Second.
Diane seconds. All in favor?
I'm in for this vote or for the whole section, because I think
Oh,
we
I'm
have
sorry,
six.
is that one? Oh, then I need,
I think you need
Peter
me.
recused himself.
But yeah, with Peter, you would be seven, we would be six without me, I think. You need
Well-
seven.
I think I have to appoint you. Yes, I will appoint you for this vote as an alternate for here, actually for the rest of the night. We gotta have it all. Yeah, I apologize. So
Yeah.
all around for that, and you're on for any other votes, but this was the only one really. But I know we can tell Peter to come on back in.
Thank you, Commission.
Thank you. Peter. Number 3 is Youth Conservation Award nominees. Nathan Alberts and Assad Syed. Come on forward. Hi,
Hi.
and have a seat. Tell us who you are.
My name is Asad Sayed and I just graduated Fairfield High School. Congratulations. Thank you. And I was the president of my school's eco club and the leader of the Sustainable Fairfield student. It's like an offshoot of Sustainable Fairfield Task Force. Yeah.
All right. Congrats, thank you. Did they do it? Was there a ceremony or anything with,
This was just to provide the nomination forms to the commission.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if the nomination committee, subcommittee will be meeting on.
I don't know. Okay,
Yeah, Rick will probably bring the names forward.
he will.
I was expected.
Okay. So why don't you give us a little info of things that you did?
Right, so we set up compost or fully student run composting system in my high school using compost tumblers and student volunteers who would help collect food scraps from our cafeteria in order to increase the sustainability of our entire school and limit the amount of waste we created. We advocated for a lot of solar carports all throughout Fairfield. I think our main one was Burr Elementary School. That was actually our first official action for the Sustainable Fairfield students. And from that, we created an Instagram account where I would create informational videos and PSAs on local climate stuff that was going on, like local wildfires and also other initiatives like the Green New Deal. And we've garnered over 1,000 followers on the Instagram account, and we've still been making videos to this day. Other than that, we've raised $1,000 for charities like the National Forest Foundation. We've done a lot of local cleanups and other volunteering events throughout town. And yeah, I think, and we're trying to work on getting a greenhouse at the local Fairfield Ludlow High School. And hopefully my successor at the Eco Club will be able to continue that.
All right.
Well, this is the type of people
This
that
is impressive. Excellent job.
talking about when he was, no.
When did you have time to
I
study?
know.
Smart. Where are you going to school?
UConn next year.
All right. Go Huskies.
I also went to UConn. I can talk to you anytime. I also was in your field or in environmental stuff, so I'm happy to talk to you at some point about.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love talking to the younger generations about school and stuff like that, especially UConn, because I went there and I loved it. It was a great school. But congrats.
Thank you.
Really quick question. What did you do with the compost?
The composting, we donated it to different teachers, like we had a botany teacher, we had an environmental science teacher, we donated to a lot of them. We had some students who had their own gardens. I had my own garden personally, so we donated to some of them as well. And a lot of it we reused for like the next pile that would come in, so that next time we were putting in food, there was something already there for it to start with.
Awesome.
That's great.
Great.
Commissioners, any questions or anything?
Develop your weeding skills and going after invasives. That's fun.
Excellent. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
We had someone online, because I see, if I read well, I'm here for my kid.
Oh, that's my mom.
Oh, okay.
You should say hi then.
Very proud. All right. Number 4 is request to approve land acquisition. 785 Old Dam Road, 1.69 acres. Yeah.
Yes, this is actually my request. I believe it should be included in here. In your packet. This was a request that was approved by Town Planning and Zoning and was going through the process of board approval right now, and it had not come before the commission yet. So tonight, I'll just briefly describe the scenario. The property in subject site is 785 Oldfield Road. It is a little over 2 acres.
It's the same one or is it different? This is the one we're talking about now is Old Dam.
Oldfield.
Oh,
Oldfield,
Old Dam.
not to be confused with Old Dam.
So this is a
This is
typo?
a typo then in our agenda?
Maybe, let's see. Yes, that is a
Typo.
typo.
All right.
So we'll reflect that in the
That
minutes.
when we-
Yeah, we really confused there for a second.
Good. Good eyes. I didn't see that and I wrote it. 7, for the let the record reflect, item number 4 in section 5 should be spelled 785 Old Field Road, not 785 Old Dam Road. Clarify that confusion, thank you. But the parcel memo and map are of 785 Old Field. So this existing parcel is a little over 2 acres. Majority of it is tidal marsh, and it is adjacent to several parcels that make up our open space, which is also submerged, semi-submerged tidal marsh. I spoke with Chip Marion representing the ownership under the Marion Brown Living Trust. And I approached him and initiated the request. He was open to it and seeked tax relief instead of paying taxes on land that is not usable and more valuable to us. He was open to the idea of a subdivision. So working with town planning and zoning to make sure that this divided lot that he does use for residence and actually a commercial space will remain conforming in size. We town engineering drew up a proposed lot split and surveying, engineering and surveying was out in the field to survey the lot, locate the pins, and we came up with a 1.69 acre carve out that would come to the commission as open space. And that was unanimously approved by town planning and zoning. And that would be contiguous to our existing open space. So it's just to go through the process, this commission would need to approve that, as well as the other approving boards beyond TPZ, Board of Selectmen and RTM. That is the reason why I'm presenting it. There is a lot map that shows the division and the new lot lines. And I think this is a great opportunity to acquire this parcel since we've had the adjoining parcels that make up this open space for 40 or 50 years, but never this piece. So since the current owner is agreeable to it, I think now's the time to make the request and acquire this parcel, this piece. Both good acreage for future preservation and protection.
I have a question on all of the abutting owners, right? This was somebody else's parcel, so, but now that it would become the town, what is stopping that? Is there a buffer there? Is there a?
That line is pretty close to the limit of lawn for all of those parcels, where it turns from lawn to high marsh or low marsh.
Okay.
So
It's just a
it's
natural
inundated,
thing?
yeah, it's a
Okay.
natural line. But that was, all that land all the way to Enos Court is submerged
Okay.
twice a day. So,
And there's no particular threat of somebody trying to fill it in or anything and.
no, there's some minor encroachments,
But nothing, yeah, okay.
but they'll be enforceable once we own it.
Okay.
It's just protect up more open space. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
So then as part of the packet, there's that and my original memo to TPC, just for background.
Mhm.
But the process needs a vote.
So we,
Tim, is this you searching out, ferreting out properties this is your work, correct?
Yes, all the time.
Just so that gets recognized.
Especially in the tidal area, because there's lots that are out there that are just similar ecology to this that are underwater. that
That's
have-
your intervention. You'd have the status quo.
It's huge.
That's why.
Huge ecological benefit.
And like I said, I think for the amount of time that the town hasn't acquired this piece versus the amount of time that the other adjacent parcels have been owned, I think now is that time to acquire it before this owner moves on or
Yeah, right.
property changes hands and
So should I move that the commission approve the proposal as laid out by our director?
So there's a motion to approve by Commissioner Luxinger. Anybody second that motion to approve?
I'll second.
Commissioner Vasallo? All in favor? Yes, all around. Yay. Good get.
It is.
That's great. Very good. Number 5, a new business on the Lumen 5. Old Dam Road Trail Loop, if that's what. The two. Okay, Old Dam Road Trail Route authorization status is unknown. What's this one?
This has come to my attention somewhat recently, and it's related to a trail that is in existence on town open space under this commission's jurisdiction. And it is currently being maintained by unknown parties. And that's where my ears perked up and radar has been. That I have been in contact with the homeowner association group for this part of town on South Pine Creek. And was hoping that someone at some point would be able to produce a document agreeing that this trail could exist on open space, and that it could be maintained on open space, but that has not come to fruition yet. There, in this area, there are tidal wetlands and inland wetlands. The loop, I haven't measured it, but is pretty significant to the tune of close to a mile in total. There are, you can see it from the air. I've seen that it's very obvious that it started around 2004. So it's been there a while. I've been told it's well used and well appreciated in the neighborhood. There are two access points that are clear that go to private properties. I think there could be access, although it's not promoted from near Kiwanis Field. And there is a drainage, there's a drainage swale watercourse that is probably tidal and inland. So not only does the commission have jurisdiction as open space, the agency should also be engaged as well. But overall, my intent in bringing this to your attention today is that there are activities that may or may not be unauthorized. Some might argue this is an asset, and I'm not here to propose shutting it down, but I think with my conversations with the town attorney, it's obviously a significant concern that individuals or an entity are maintaining town property that at least I'm not that new, but Parks and Rec, who owns has authority in the adjacent golf course, is not maintaining either. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. I've had some conversations with some of the residents that live down here and that do appreciate it and use it. I think some of them might be here. I posted some of their emails onto the cloud that relate to this. And really, I think if nothing else comes out of it, I think just having the conversation and getting some direction to this trail's existence is required, and to definitely stop unauthorized mowing, because if someone does get hurt on town property using equipment that they weren't permitted to do is a serious liability and exposure issue to the town. So I think just getting our arms around it was my intent tonight. So
I'm not familiar with this area. So what is it a lawnmower, like, and weeds and grasses are being cut, or trees are being cut down?
So it goes through Phragmites. So we have, your typical down in this area, 8 to 15 feet tall frag.
Okay.
There are some bridges involved for crossings, which is a
Crossing
concern.
over the swale?
Sorry?
Is it crossing the swale?
Yes.
Okay.
So, there's other unauthorized activities as far as construction or possible impediment of waters. There has been reports that the department's dealt with as far as kids
try to
and
change the
partying
work?
or materials down there. Tom and I have been in the canal area where there's ropes and bridges being forts by kids and stuff like that, which isn't really the issue, but you can hide down there.
Yeah.
In there, and, you know, to that effect, I've been told bird watching, you know, is good down there, abundant, so, you know, I think it has pluses and minuses, but I just think it has to be done properly.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Any,
I've walked by there many times and there's never been any inclination of mine to go in there because it doesn't look like I should go in there. So that's why I've never understood what it is or why it's there. It looks like private property. So I don't see how the public could be benefiting from this trail without knowledge of it.
Yeah, with some of the trail, I mean, I've been in the area, but is it, you can access it from existing trails or it's like?
It appears to me from that you access it from private property and that's why I would never dream of
Going on.
accessing
do we
it.
know who's
Doesn't make
at
any
the
sense to me.
Criminal ends of that?
Yes,
Okay, have you spoken to either of them?
one, yes.
Okay. Does anybody wanna, from the public wanna come up and speak? Please come up, give us your name and address and then we can go. I will say for purposes of the record, Attorney Bochanis and I know each other in the same community, but I don't think there's any need for me to recuse myself on anything here. If it comes up to where I think I should, I will, but as of right now, I think it's just informational. Okay, I just want to put that on the record.
Sure. And I'll acknowledge that. I know you. How are you? And my name is John Bochanis, as Mr. Thomas just indicated, here on behalf of the Pine Creek Association, together with our esteemed Chief Executive Officer / President, volunteer of the Pine Creek Association. And with regard.
Mike Inley, and I live at
Mike Inley,
285
yeah.
Old Dam Road.
Right. And I live on South Pine Creek Road. And with regard to the trail issue, I think this issue, of my understanding, is for informational purposes, that's on the agenda, brought forward by Mr. Bishop. And I just wanted to, so that the commission understands, this is a trail that has existed for 30 years, probably, if not even more. And it's existed for the public good. And I'm just addressing what was raised about, well, you know, why, you know, would you want to or go use this trail? Well, it's on the public, it's on the Town of Fairfield website with directions as to how to use the trail. And
With a map and
with,
everything.
right, with a map, and it has, on the town website, it has a map as to how to get on it, what turns to take to use it, and the title of it is, through the Health Department and the Fairfield Fitness Council. It's a path, Fairfield's Path to Health, South Pine Creek Road and Old Dam Road, walk. It's addressed as distance roughly 2 miles, describing the terrain and the map describing how to access it and how it benefits the public.
Attorney Bochanis, can you identify under what subcategory, like what department of the town
Well,
is it? Like,
yeah, it's under the, from my understanding, Health Department and Fairfield Fitness Council on the public, on the Town of Fairfield public website. And Mr. Bishop's aware of it. I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right.
And to that effect, I did have a conversation with the health department.
yeah.
Sands is away, Satina,
Oh, okay.
I spoke to on the phone yesterday after Mr. Peck sent me that link. According to the health department, that link migrated over onto the new website when the town changed websites. They were unaware that it did that, and since the committee has been defunct, they were gonna take that down.
Okay.
But and I guess my point is that there is public access to this. It's benefited the town for.
How would there be public access if we've seen all, the only thing we've seen are entrance points from 2 private properties?
I think, Mike, you could address.
Yeah, the public uses it every day. And it's not meant to be private. There's a sign, there was a sign that my understanding is this started back in the 80s. by maybe somebody named Archie Loper, who lived on Pine Creek Ave. Some of you might know him. And I actually personally was in a running club and ran on that in the late eighties. And then a guy named Rich Baker on Pine Creek Ave took it over and they called it Serenity Path. And then, yeah, I think Tim and I were exchanging emails sometime around 2000 or 2004. The old dam side connected to the Pine Creek Ave side. So it's like, it's known as Serenity Path. And there were signs there. And Tim, I think what we could do to address Peter's concern is there could be a sign on all the entry points that say Serenity Path, public welcome, or something like that. You know, it is something that the neighbors really enjoy. All the neighbors really enjoy, like Dave Peck. They walk it every you know, every day, every week. Bird watchers go there. And it is like possibly with the erection of a couple of signs that say public welcome. It's a loop that you can park at the little park at Pine Creek Avenue. I forget I don't know what that's officially called, but the little playground.
French, intersects with French Street and.
And also at the baseball field. So there's plenty of public parking to walk that
So the,
2 mile loop.
right, and the access, there's access by Kiwanis Field and also by the park that was just mentioned. So this is not closed off to the public as depicted in the map that was on the town website for many, many years.
And like Tim said, a lot of bird watchers go there from the, from what's it called? The Audubon Society go there and, I'll be running, I'll go for a run sometimes and I'll startle some bird watchers and they're out there with their binoculars. So it's been, I think it's been there 30, 40 years and it was recently brought to Tim's attention and it's not really maintained by the town or by any official.
Would you happen to know who maintains it?
Well, like I said, I think in the big early days in the eighties, it was a guy named Archie Loper, who's since passed away.
Who may have inherited that job?
And Rich Baker,
Okay.
who goes by Captain Baker. He lives on Pine Creek Ave. But he just had a stroke a couple of years ago. So now it's kind of maintained by just volunteers.
And people using it and walking it. And that creates the existing path.
So it's not, you're just saying that that's foot traffic that does that? It's not any type of means of machine?
I think in the past, there might have been
Some ride, some,
individuals,
like
doing
Rich
it.
had a ride, a John Deere and was always, going in there every week and.
Any interest commissioners going out there to see it, just so we have some information visually and all that? Yeah,
I think it's a great asset for the town and.
Well, it is the town's, so
Yeah.
that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the town's property.
Yeah.
But the town, we have a whole team here that maintains our properties.
Yeah.
So we're the commission that oversees these things. And if somebody, Attorney Bochanis might be better adept at explaining this than I am. I don't do litigation as much as he does. Somebody slips and falls or cuts their finger off using their own lawnmower or their, hand off on the town's property, who do you sue? So I think we all appreciate the years that were put in, the enjoyment that comes out of it, and that's what we're here for. But we want to see how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we agree too.
yeah, so
We're in agreement.
Yeah, I think,
I think, again, I think we're in agreement with that. We just like to see it continue to be
I kind-
accessible and enjoyed
if
by
it's
everybody.
possible,
who has-
we'll strive to do that.
And I
If it's
talked,
not,
to Tim yesterday. And, in all honesty, the tricky part is, I think some of the access points are private property. And some of the middle parts are town property. So it's like, I think the private property owners would certainly grant permission for any kind of maintenance to take place or a collection of volunteers will maintain it.
Why would they need to
create a public
permission to maintain
No, we would.
property? I don't know.
That's the opposite, right? We don't want that to happen anymore. It's the town's property.
Right.
So it's either we need to maintain it or nobody can maintain it. There's also a value to it to not have any humans in there at all, because if it's Phragmites that are growing,
It's Deer Central.
it's better for the you know, other little critters and things in the environment.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure if there is a visit to the site to get
Yeah,
a
that's-
picture as to this, because you'll see adjacent to that on South Pine Creek Road, there's another path that goes down that is,
Yeah,
that's well used and well known by everybody. And that's.
we'd be happy to take you for a tour.
Okay, we can try to set that up. That would be great.
Yeah.
Much appreciated now with the longer days and everything.
Yeah,
So,
it's an awesome site. We'd love to see it continue.
Okay,
Happy to take you guys on a little hike.
Tim, you have the gentleman's information?
Yeah, I do. I'll coordinate that with Mr. Ginley and then.
What we generally do when we are in a different capacity, in the Inland Wetlands Agency, we'll go out and view somebody's property and to make decisions. So we're just gonna be doing this, but we're happy to have you come and show us around, and so you can.
100%.
Yeah,
What
that'd
I
be
could
great.
do is, since there is inland there and considered regulated area, I could put this on the agenda for a site walk for August.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least, and put it on both, just so that we cover all of our bases. Is that okay with, you folks there? I think that's prudent.
I'll coordinate.
That works.
Date and time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Happy to do it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Well, am I have the chance to speak as well?
Oh, sure, on the same, on this topic?
Yes, and partially sort of more. It's funny how this
Okay.
all comes together.
Give us your name and address. please.
Joseph Levsky, I live at 71 Elm Street.
Okay,
In relation to Serenity Path, which I myself am very well familiar with too.
Okay.
I live probably about 2.5, 3 miles north of there.
okay.
I've already met some of the people on the Conservation Commission quite recently. So to clarify first, and I can even hand this out to you guys. I have actually been working in collaboration with the Bike and Ped Committee in other parts of town. Tim Bishop, I emailed you as well. About a potential greenway across the town. That would honor a lot of these open spaces. This actually becomes very relevant because I didn't even, I guess before this, I myself growing up here my whole life wasn't even fully aware that this Serenity Path has a different level of authorization than other trails in there. Like for more context, I've lived in Fairfield since I was 4 years old. I'm 24 now. I started running cross country at Fairfield Woods Middle School. And so I've been consistently using the open spaces and truly like growing up naturalizes them, if you will, just constantly exploring. I'm very near both Perry's Mill Ponds and the salt marshes. So those are the two I pretty much explore the most. On that note, I run through Serenity Path pretty much all the time. The access points, if you're running around and exploring, I'd say they're rather visible on Old Dam Road and Pine Creek Avenue. Personally as well, I got super into ecology and observation. I think I talked with Commissioner Vassallo and Rosenthal about this, and one of the
Can I just
things,
interrupt for one
yeah.
second?
Yes.
So we all met during the walk, the conservation.
I just met her.
It wasn't
how we
like
got
some like
Excellent.
magical outside meeting. It was
Yeah,
like.
that was the part of it. Yeah, that's
Like the,
yes, please, if you wouldn't
It
mind.
was more interesting, it was just
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I just like, wait a minute.
Cauldron with, a
I
spoon.
just feel like I
We
need
met
to.
at Serenity Sorry, night.
Serenity Path. Okay. And
Excellent.
here we go, yeah, and essentially, I was just going to say about.
You at the P O C.
Yours.
Yes, I was. Yes, and actually, I'd even sort of mentioned Serenity Path at that time as well, saying that in essence already you could run from the beach all the way up, and part of that would be with Serenity Path, which also here, I guess, representing the younger generation, a lot of people who are avid runners, such as myself, and another reason, I guess, why it was at the P O C D as well is back over COVID, when I was here home from college, I actually ran every street of Fairfield. So I have a pretty high level of familiarity with the entire town at this point. But anyway, what I bring up the college running and being younger is because there's an app now to track a lot of activities with Strava. And I just checked again to confirm this. And these trails actually do appear on the Strava map, meaning that if you look online about like where trails are in Fairfield, the loop pops up as a potential place to run. And the global heat map of where people run shows that other people use this. So it's a very well-known thing. As you see, I live 2 miles away. People love it. My brother as well, just starting to get into photography and bird watching, loves going there as well to photograph red-winged blackbirds, snowy egrets, ospreys, your typical wetland birds.
Can I just add something?
Yeah.
Just to back you up, in 1987 or 1988, I lived in Cheshire, Connecticut. I worked at Tetley Tea in Shelton, and I was in a Connecticut-wide, New York-wide running club, and they hosted a run on Pine Creek Ave once a year, and they ran in those trails back in the late 80s. So I was a huge runner, and it was a well-known running trail back in, I would say 1988.
Do one of you want to kind of fill in what Strava is about?
Oh, sure.
For the
Yeah.
record.
I don't know that.
Oh, okay.
You do though.
Yeah, Strava is an app that essentially allows you to record fitness activities. It's almost like a social media platform for things. It's like you can go out on a run, like this GPS watch that I'm wearing right now, for example, coincidentally, because I do all the time. I can start a run on it, it'll track me, it'll put a map of where I ran through the town, and then it gets posted to my friends and they can like and comment. And so it's kind of a way to like get to meet other runners and things, because you see people at races, and then you can coordinate on like how to meet up and do other runs together. You can see what your friends are doing. It was also keep in touch over COVID. When our teams were all apart, we would post our runs and you could see that everyone was still pulling their weight when they were away. It was also how I tracked running every street of Fairfield, because I was using the GPS and visibly watching the map fill in. So in essence as well, it shows Serenity Path as a trail that can be run in the town. And it honestly is incredibly well maintained. One of the nicest sections of trail in the entire town, because I guess it's then a mystery as to how. I'm young here. I don't know who maintains it, but it is typically very well mowed grass with essentially then the Phragmites on either side. But it also is interesting in that in some of the spaces where you can look across and you see some of those wetlands, it showcases some of those gray birch forests down in the lower Pine Creek, which honestly, I would have never known about had this path not existed. And as somebody who's really into wildlife observation as well, I guess, dating myself as Gen Z here with another app called iNaturalist, where you can take pictures of wildlife and it will identify them for you. I actually created the town of Fairfield as a place on iNaturalist, and I have over 650 wildlife observations here. So I am the #1 user in terms of wildlife observations in this town. So I so wholeheartedly care about the wildlife here. I would not try to do anything to disrupt them or their movement. But as I look at the hundreds of acres and see this one trail, I think the educational value that it provides, again, teaching me sort of about this whole transitional ecotone that we really have in Fairfield, a mixed area between the more traditional low marsh Phragmites and the inland wetlands. This sort of slightly brackish gray birch forest is really a powerful educational piece. And if the town leverages that correctly, it's actually one of the ecological wonders in a longer form version of the Greenway Trail document that I was planning on writing in. I was going to say, just north of South Pine Creek, you have this incredible gray birch Phragmites area where, these are slightly more salt tolerant trees than other trees, but you can even see damage from Superstorm Sandy when the water level rose and became a little more, salinity or higher salinity, which killed some of them. I think it's a great piece of climate change too, that the town could use as education and awareness, so this entire Greenway was inspired. I've been talking about with Bike and Ped, they unanimously endorsed it. But essentially, it would just be a massive piece for awareness. I want the trail as well to really delve into the ecology of each section. We are so incredibly lucky to go from an area with 0 feet above sea level to 450 feet within an easily traversable span with countless little microclimates along the way. As you can tell, I'm a pretty big proponent of trails and access. Obviously, it should be done the correct way. I'm not going to be an expert on that like you guys are. But if there's any way that this could even move forward, because again, I actually had used even a portion of Serenity Path as the alignment for the Greenway Trail to connect the southernmost portion of town. I can even show you many photos from it if you want right now. I have them on my phone. I've
Okay.
taken.
We're gonna go out and see
Yeah.
it ourselves
Okay.
and get the information. So now we have multiple folks that are.
I think a really cool thing to add to what he's saying is, the trail connects, if you just, walk down Old Dam. And it connects to, I don't know what officially it's called, but the trail, that goes to Mona Terrace. Where they're doing the dike work.
The Frank Rice Trail, that's
Yeah.
the name of the
So it
town.
connects to that, so you get miles of nature walking there, there's tons, if public access is an issue, trust me, that will not be an issue.
So I guess that's what I'd like to get at. What are the issues? What are the things that have to be done? We have to recognize the trail as an official town trail, and then we have to get easements from across the private property.
No, I would discontinue access
From the-
We're
on
putting
private
you in.
property and, this is my other issue is as far as the liability concerns, of current maintenance, but also now the department has to take on a significant, new maintenance area. We have to, have a sign, have proper access from Old Dam. And
Is there
then,
access?
and then maintain it. I don't know. I haven't.
Road, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
There
there
is,
is.
there is.
Public access. Well, yeah.
Yes.
There could be 2 access points from Old Dam, one right across from the baseball field,
So
where there already is.
Swalers?
if you can just point those things out to us when we get down there.
Sure.
We need to have public
I'll go
access.
with you.
There has to be a.
Yeah, there's already public access, but
Yeah,
that could be expanded easily.
But it's, it's,
With
now
parking,
now we
too.
have. Forward. That's,
That trail
that would be my,
accesses across from.
Well, it's being used, it's gonna be used regardless, this is what I'm.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I mean-
hearing here, people use it, we're not gonna put barricades up and stop people from using it, are we?
Right.
well, that's.
If you would.
The commission.
Well, I don't know, if people would actually, if we put the barricades up and they use it anyways, and does that relieve us about liability?
If someone cuts their foot off with a lawnmower, I don't know.
Like that,
Is that trespass?
I'm not sure if you guys are aware as.
For tonight's purposes, we got a lot of
I'm just trying to
information.
define what our
People that
goals and
showed up.
objectives are, and what we need to do.
And we'll figure out, what we can, should, will do with it. But we need more information.
Well, I just like to say I'm very glad that you're here because at the P O C D, you start talking about the open spaces and viewing them from the point of view of somebody who's a runner. A trail runner was, I thought, a very interesting alternate view of our open spaces. And I think it's a view that would benefit us to take advantage of your experience in looking at our open spaces from that perspective as well.
I think a lot of them are.
Of a trail runner.
I think they're used.
Yeah,
And I think
exactly.
we were talking about that, and I think a lot of them, people don't even know they exist.
Oh, absolutely.
We
Yeah,
have
there's a
50,
critical
we used to have
I
50.
try and promote Sacred Heart Fairfield University. The students don't know of the variety of different ecosystems that are represented by our open spaces in town. There's.
I would also like, sorry. I was just gonna say also to further stress the potential importance of Serenity Path to the overall town ecosystem, or trail running ecosystem. Because it's the southernmost and would link us to the beach. That would actually, the Bike and Ped Committee is already trying to go forward with grants to help, create a greenway trail. Obviously without your guys' approval, it would just be on like roads and things, but, if there was an approved town greenway, that would allow us to get increased grant funding, some of it even for open space acquisition. So it'd be at no cost to the other conservation department things. We would just have more open space, which
It's also a
I think is
state,
fantastic.
it's also a state greenway program.
Yeah.
That we're in touch with UConn and the folks that manage that. I don't know if this would qualify from what.
We're trying to get that. We've looked at Greenwich, Norwalk, New Haven, West Hartford. They're all
We
doing.
don't have one in Fairfield, so that.
This is exactly what we're trying to do. Bike and Ped Committee was looking at originally a variation of the East Coast Greenway. But then everyone agreed on Bike and Ped that it was fine as it was because it traveled through local roads in the southern part of town. And then Alex Ressi, who currently sits on Bike and Ped, lives up in Greenfield Hill, had a very similar idea to me out of pure coincidence about a north-south Greenway. Jeff Randolph from Planning and Zoning connected the two of us after we talked at the P O C D.
Right.
And so essentially, yeah, I mean, I think as I put on that little blurb, this aligns with the Fairfield P O C D. There's state, willpower right now. In fact, even I was gonna say, speaking of valuable land for the town, another thing that this greenway would then allow for leverage is it would give hopefully more ecological weight and consideration to at least acquiring some of, or public access through 185 Thorpe Street, which is just south of the Post Road and 6.7 acres. That was formerly the site of a Fairfield like blogging area that was then privately owned. And was slated to be put as like 135 units and an 8-30G proposal back in 2018. However, I then looked into this with the tax maps, tried to find the owner. Cinto Thorpe LLC had to restructure in 2023. So possibly I can't see who's behind on taxes or something, but this may be of interest to the Land Acquisition Commission. If we can get money for this through the state Greenway Trail Initiative, because one of the final alignments does go through that lot, this would obviously be a massive win and a way to gain another like almost 7 acres south of the Post Road to.
Appreciate all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just script this one thing.
Okay. Yeah.
See what that is, when we have a plan in place, we're gonna go look at it.
Yeah.
And then we'll be on, a bunch of next meeting for this and the, thing like that.
I'm sadly leaving for medical school soon, so that's why I was just, this is my only time seeing you in person.
Are you gonna be here in August for the tour?
Huh?
Are you gonna be in August for the tour?
I leave in like a week. I tried to.
Where are you going?
We're all gonna do a fun run.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the open spaces got me into science. Oh,
Yeah, again, I appreciate your point of view and that, well, good that you're going to medical
Good that you're
school.
going.
Yeah.
Too bad we can't have you attached to the commission from the standpoint of the subcommittee to talk about looking at the town from a runner's perspective, because I think that is a very interesting
Yeah.
alternate view of our open spaces. And something that I would be in favor of the commission taking a longer look at.
Thank you, nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you, and sorry if that's a lot. I was just trying to I talked with some of them briefly and they're like, you should come, and I was like, this is the only, I get it with the scheduled in, if I can pet and so.
Well, I dialed into the P O C D and I went, who is that guy?
Yeah.
And I couldn't find your name. So I'm glad you came up.
Oh, if you want me to join by Zoom, I'd be more than hopefully at some point in the future.
We're on Zoom. These meetings are all on.
Every meeting is on Zoom.
Feel free.
So it'd be better to meet you all in person first.
Yep. We're glad that you did.
Yeah.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you for coming. Name on that mailing list.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Program 6, old business.
Yeah.
Do you have something on?
Well, I have a lot of things on that.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if we want to, I could briefly think of it, this might be a topic for a separate meeting or even a special meeting. Conservation easements are a useful tool, but they're only one tool. There's different types of easements. There's deed restrictions, there's conservation easements. Conservation easements, I believe, we try to, I think we don't have a good policy for why we have conservation. Past, I think they were used to reserve different lands, but do we have an inventory of our conservation easements?
No, a lot of them are on private property.
Well, I think they're all on private property, but that's the point I'm trying to make. If you're gonna put a land into conservation easement, we need to, then that makes us a steward and that makes us responsible. We should be doing inspections on them. We should have an inventory of them. We should know where they are. Without doing that, I think many of them, Westby Road, one on Wakefield Road, one on Old Academy Road, they've all been violated. There's no way to mark them. There's no way to interpret them. We would get kind of stuck after the fact, after they've been disturbed. And I think after the fact, it's not a good situation. So I think backing up, we need to understand why we need the conservation is what lands are appropriate to be protected by conservation easements. I don't think we should just pose them on all properties. I think we need to, and then once we decide that we want to have a conservation easement, the language and the mechanism for which we protect them should be very clear. It should include some type of maintenance.
Yeah, I think at this point, I don't think we should have a commission-wide meeting. I think this is appropriate for a subcommittee.
Subcommittee,
I'll
yeah.
ask you, Commissioner Fain and Commissioner Luxinger, and one more, if anybody's interested. Let's have three, and Diane, if you can kind of look at all of that, and maybe go to the town clerk's office and see if they can get you run a list of, because I know in the land records, they're identified by
I
type
don't know,
of
but I don't think you
document.
can sort by it. That's the
You can-
problem.
I think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can sort by type of document, I think you can. And then if they can print out conservation easements, then at least you might get a head start on where they are, you know? And then
think you can sort by easements.
by
but
easements and not if, not.
That could be
conservation.
anything.
That could be anything. Well, at the very least, they're in the town's name, so it'll be, you can sort by the name at least.
So they're just, they're not, they're held where we
would, it's
we don't
either gonna be
actually-
no,
Yeah.
if it's an easement, it's a right to land, so it's either gonna be in the town's name or the commission's name.
You don't have any mechanism in your files to
Only-
identify it,
Only manually.
only manual. You have to go through every file.
No, we don't.
No, you know, then that's so.
And some of ours, you
Yeah.
know, some of them that were maybe handled paper, you know, since the seventies.
Yeah.
But that's
I know
what,
one
that's
file
why
of
the
like-
land records are there. So those are all recorded on land records and, you know, and kept in perpetuity. So that would be the source.
When do the land records start? Because not everything is on the land records.
started-
No, all the land
1700s.
records, once that office was, land records go back to the king's deed from
Yeah.
England.
Right,
So
but I mean, the online records that we could easily.
They've gone back to the
access.
sixties now, I think. So at least start there, right? If we can't catch them all, at least the ones that were in, you know. from-
I mean,
from
that's,
the-
that's
50s
just
or
one,
60s.
one aspect of this whole
Right.
thing. Like I said,
So-
I think we need to have a more comprehensive approach. And I think we have to understand what we want to accomplish when we have a conservation. And I think we need to have much stronger language that incorporates the Connecticut Environmental Protection Act. And as I said at the other meeting, I think the way we structure an easement with our preamble and with what we decide that the value of the easements are, we can establish that whether it's landscape value for trees or forestry value for trees, we don't have to say,
Well, you can-
but we can say that this is what we saw, and then that could be.
That's fine. And then
factor into in the
you'll
future.
get us that information and then some of it we might have to send over to Phil to look at
So
because,
I think we would certainly have to have a
you
legal
know,
review.
yeah, so.
Tim, is this something that you could ask the consultant that we're talking to about doing the inventory? If they've had any experience with easement inventories or something, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we could do in the department.
Yeah, I'm not saying to change the scope of the inventory, but just maybe they have experience with. automated
I can ask
systems for, you know.
Well, the inventory should probably include conservation easements as.
I would think it would.
land. But I don't think it's easy, like I said, Tim, I don't think it's
We have it
that
in,
trivial to
It's
identify.
not easy to do.
we have it in the map and we have it in map form in our GIS, so
GIS,
it
yeah.
could be extracted manually.
Okay.
If the
Do you have
land
a
records
conservation
don't work.
easement?
Yeah, that's not up to date, but
Where the place to start?
I can look and I have access to our land records. I do it for new homeowners. Whenever somebody buys a new house, I look at every single new homeowner and see if they have wetlands, and that's when I send out
Send
the
out letters.
packets. So I can briefly look and see if there's an easy way to filter easements.
Subcommittee, you have access to folks that can help the town land records and so on, and then maybe even, you know, draft conservation easements from other towns if you have, you know, if there's somebody.
I previously circulated one, a master conservation easement document from, you know, the land trust organization had prepared. That could be a model also, but the other towns have them. But I've seen, you know, I've working with them for years. I've seen what the strengths and weaknesses are of the various different ones.
Excellent.
I think it's great thinking about it. Just
Well, you can see right now, it's,
Really
I
good.
think it's a
I'm really
broken
happy.
process, so I think we need to correct
Well, I
it.
think you're absolutely right. I think we need to have a handle on it. No question.
All right. Any
I
other?
think it positions the agency and the commission better too. To show, some attentiveness, so that I think it's a really good idea.
Good. Where are we? 7, open spaces land acquisitions. Number 1. 3726 Post Road, 4.20 acres. And number 2 is current acquisition frequency rate is 2.44 parcels. 2.44 months and parcel. Yeah, okay. That's it. Anything further on those, or that's, what do you?
That'll be this is the latest acquisition that actually won't be in effect until, Friday.
Close enough.
So, close enough. I just wanted to get it out there. This, is contiguous parcel to, the open space, so roughly 5 acres of open space on Halls Highway. This 4.2 will be added to that and essentially almost double that open space. This parcel was formerly, a majority of it was formerly submerged under the Volkley Pond. And I'm still pursuing, the 2 parcels south of this one at 3724 and 3722, which will get us almost to Post Road. Which to the west of these parcels is the border between Westport and Fairfield. So I'm slowly going to be acquiring and expanding that open space, but will also afford us that riparian protection of the water course. So that is the Sasko Brook there. As it exits and becomes at the former Bulkley Dam as kind of the tidal line under Post Road. But since the removal of the dam, my conversations with Deep Marine Fisheries has sea run herring that I met with them last week. They told me the sea run herring are now found because of that removal up as far as Sandwater. So marine fish are making it that far.
What kind of fish?
Herring. Oh, I believe they're blueback. They're that travel north as fry for safety and then go back to the ocean.
And these properties, are they all, we pay for them, the town pays for them, or are they the foreclosures where people say they give up taxes and, or they're a mix of the two?
This is one of the oldest properties I've been chasing back to, I think, early 22. This was owned by, there was 8 listed on the deed. All but 1 were deceased. And this was a strict foreclosure that the courts granted. So most of the acreage that I pursue is strategic to existing open space or large enough to create a new open space, but also affords a protection of either tidal or inland resources. So there's 0 cost to the town or the taxpayer because all the legal activities are done by the town attorney under their budget. So
yeah,
we're getting, I think if I'll just be under, since I started almost right at about 40 acres.
Yep.
New to the town for free, I'll call it.
Yeah. Yep.
So this, like I said, is one I've been chasing for a while, so I'm glad that as of Friday, it'll be under your umbrella.
As always, man, it's a great job, and that number, it was up, I think, 4.3, now it's 2.44, it's great, just absolutely great. Really good work.
Thank you.
Nothing for bills and communications. Under 8, number 9, legal enforcement actions, 1, continued 1240 Westport Turnpike, unauthorized encroachment on town open space via exclusionary chain and signage. What's up with that?
Nicole and I were out there on Monday to confirm whether there's been any recent corrections. There has been some movement in the yellow chain, but not completely accurate. So yesterday I sent out a second notice of violation to require further action. There's about 120 linear feet of yellow plastic chain and signage in still on town property. We located the stone walls where the property line exists and intersects, and they're close but not quite there yet. So hopefully I put that in clear enough language again to answer their questions, and offered to meet them on the site.
Have you
Should
spoken to them at all?
they have not contacted the department at all. So I'm
Attractive chain.
yeah, I don't, I mean, there's nothing in that area, so I'm not sure what they're trying to prohibit. There's no trail there to keep them off their property. So, you know, I want the signs down and the chain. They could put it up on their property, but not on the town, so, you know, to be seen, but,
Yeah.
we'll check it again, and I gave them 30 days, so.
Okay. Well, we'll
to be
keep
seen.
on them, keep on them.
How did you find the exact line that you were, because you said you guys found the markings? How did you
Yeah,
do
the
that?
stone wall, the series of stone walls you can see from the aerials, and it completely lines up with what's on GIS. So while we were out there, we just kind of navigated ourselves and positioned ourselves based on the stone walls. And then actually at the intersection of the stone walls where the property line is, there's a monument etched into the stone with a pink boundary flag. So it's pretty obvious, like, this is where yours starts and ours, you know? So just move your chain and we're fine.
But they've moved it partially?
They did.
Okay.
So just not,
Any laser.
it is a little confusing because there are,
Yellow plastic.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
there are some stone walls that are
When you
perpendicular.
see it from a great distance, it's very distracting.
Right, it says
Walk in the
private
woods.
property, keep out or.
It's weird, and I don't really understand
The
personally.
signs are on
Nothing to do
town
with it, why
trees,
you'd ever
so
go down there anyway, but.
anyway, I
Just keep up,
yeah.
keep on them. Number 2, it's continued, 30 Laurel Brook Lane, unauthorized encroachment, damages into conservation easement.
I reached out to Sarah. She was away last few days, looking for an update on this. It relates to this commission as an encroachment into the easement, but also inland wetlands permit. I don't believe that's been submitted yet, so
Okay, we'll just continue to
it's
follow up.
kicking the can,
Yep.
but I think an order might be necessary at this point for August,
But that would be under inland wetlands.
under inland
Yeah,
wetlands, yes.
so one way or the other, it'll be dealt with.
Yes.
Either they come forward on their own or we do something. Okay.
There's been no contact, but then again, we have not chased them down for answers.
Okay.
I'll remind Sarah to get back to me on that.
And number 3 is our friend at 120 Wakeman Lane, discussion related conservation easement.
Nothing new there
Nothing new.
since the agency last met and
Okay.
discussed it in executive session.
Yep, so that just continues to go on. I'll put that on the next one.
Never ending story.
Yep, number 10, staff reports, number 1, ongoing seasonal maintenance on trails, open spaces.
Just to let the commission know, I've received emails and Q alerts about, you know, weeds are growing high in this trail or the knotweed's too thick over here. So this is the time of year when Tom and the crew are out with our 4 seasonal employees to continuously mow and cut back trails. And, you know, with all the rain, everything's growing twice as fast. So that's been my response to the public, and that's happening every day, all day, every day. So if you know, you'll see that as you go on some of the open spaces.
That's what- That's what Tim says, Tom. What
We
do
do.
you
I,
say?
I ran into the guys down in Oakville, I think, everywhere.
There's a lot of knotweed, ton of mugwort, and now our new enemy is bamboo.
Really?
Oh, no.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I think the knotweed's the worst.
All right.
Dude, anywhere on the
Bamboo's
new
harder to
tractor?
cut. Bamboo's harder to cut.
What's that?
Bamboo's harder than. to
Yeah, I
cut
know,
than
but it's
knotweed.
not as prolifically spreading as the
Well,
knotweed.
Go down to Palmetto.
What's, anywhere on the new tractor?
Tractor, I had the conversation with upstairs and it's still in the crosshairs of moving forward.
That would help, no?
Yeah, I think in some cases, yeah. We are authorized, Tom placed the order today with the PO from yesterday to purchase a new DR mower, so.
Brush
that's-
mower?
Yeah, those are pretty effective.
What we've been doing is going over the knotweed with the Kubota, with the grappling hook.
Mhm.
Laying it down because
Detaching.
the DRs are just climbing up the knotweed. I mean, some of them are 7 feet tall already.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
So we go over with the DR or the Kubota first to
Right.
lay it down. And the guys go over back and forth with the DRs.
Then you spray it or you don't spray it?
Can't spray it because of dogs and everything else.
Don't spray it, then it's just,
It comes back. But if you get it before it goes to seed, at least you control it a little bit.
Slow it down.
All right.
But the bamboo's getting sprayed.
that, you know, yeah,
You don't have a choice.
no, you have to use the forestry mower for that. You can't use the field mowers, don't want anything.
Oh. That's not good. Number 2 is Eagle Scout candidate Noah Bertot, excuse me, Troop 199 Peter Bench Amphitheater project completed at the Fairfield Environmental Education and Field Station on May 31st, 2025.
If anybody's been there lately, you'll see that in the back. Noah and the crew did a great job. It really looks nice and it's gonna be a great asset to the
Yeah, it came out really good.
facility.
This came out well.
It looks really great and people are excited to
House next
to use it. But that was his second Saturday and it is complete, so
There's seating.
beautiful. Just wanted to share that with the commission.
Very nice. Oh, it's another great, great open space.
Is this the official name, Fairfield Environmental Education and Field Station, or we're still working on it?
I'm
What it is?
leaning towards that to come up with something
Nice.
to demonstrate what
Nature's classroom.
what it actually is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nature's Classroom might be copyrighted.
That one's been
So we
used to
might-
death.
we might have to register or trademark this, but
All right.
yeah,
Like the
that's,
field station thing, yeah.
Yeah.
that's, it's, it shows the intent and I'm trying to capture the intent of the facility, so whether it's a catchy acronym or not is to be seen, but
You tried it?
That's.
Thieves.
Thieves. All right.
Kinda
Number
weird.
3, thank you to resident volunteer Tim Sandler, who assisted staff in trailblazing at Brentwoods. Well, thank you, Tim Sandler.
yep, he is he helped Nicole in Brentwood and it was a much needed trailblazing effort by staff and Tim, so I just wanted to recognize him formally. And probably going to be some future trails and additional open spaces to blaze, so.
All right. Thank you, Tim Sandler. Number 4, horseshoe crab tagging with Dr. Sinek at June 7, 2025.
These items I just wanted to point out because they're activities the commission's been overseeing, and wanted to make sure everyone knew. But that was another successful, our second annual horseshoe crab tagging on June 7th, led by Dr. Kasanek of Sacred Heart University. We maxed out our allotted tags in about 90 minutes. Commissioner Saunders was there, and staff Nicole were there, as well as myself with my kids, and it was a good day. That everyone got in the water, and we tagged a lot of crabs. So
Where was this? What beach?
this was at Southport Beach.
People were really
Oh my
enthusiastic.
God, they
Yeah.
got crabs immediately, like 2 seconds they had crabs. It's amazing.
So it's a good public, even though it's totally not within the commission's purview per se, we stretch a little bit because it's.
PR. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good PR, it's effective, builds our relationship with the university and
Yep.
gets people out, so.
Nice.
I think I found one of those crabs today, the 551 series.
Oh, yeah?
Nicole, is that the series?
I think it was. You can always,
Yeah, one little guy swimming around with the tag.
you can always.
Yeah, report it.
Yeah, always report it.
Yeah. All right. Number 5 is department staff, nature walk, Commissioner Wasalo, June 14th, 2025.
Hundreds of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I had 3 fellow commissioners, one of them with the family. So the number was, we started from a good base. Joe was there, and we had 2 other members of the public. Most of all, we were lucky with the weather because it was rain all day.
Squeeze that in.
Yeah, and so, no, it was, I thought it was a good experience. Yeah, took us, the time, we used all the allotted time because it took us an hour and a half to walk the trail. It was a good day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Where are we at now? We are number.
Oh, if I may.
Oh, yes.
You mentioned, Tim, the weed and the overgrowth. Commissioner Rosenthal noticed that the meadow or the open area and then the center of Springer Glen. Yes, all that grass that is growing is invasive.
Still grass.
Upper or lower?
Grass, yes.
Upper or lower?
Everywhere.
I don't.
Lower
yeah.
with the chestnut trees.
Where the
Chestnut
back, where the
trees.
old back.
Yeah.
And
There's 2 spots where the chestnut trees
The
are.
lower.
The lower
Yeah.
part, yes, the lower part. Sorry, now I see what you mean. So Heather, your idea was this would be a great place to have one day.
I mean, to mow it all down and like have a meadow there, just to like start putting something there. That was just like chit chat. I know we have a lot on our
Yes.
plate, but that
As a
was
part,
definitely like, it's
In the
just
wish
gonna keep
list.
getting higher and,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's,
We do mow that field.
I know you do. I know you do. It's
I
just,
mean,
there's nothing you can do about it unless you
so much
get
time
rid
in
of
it.
it and we
You gotta
we
There is
find-
substitute,
get
yeah.
something in there.
Find
Yeah,
something
that's
else
it.
to take over the space.
And I did just,
I know.
I'm sorry, like to delay. Went to the Bartlett Arboretum this week and Mr. Bartlett, Francis, I guess, actually, he's the one who was propagating the chestnuts.
Oh.
Right, and so there's like a special Bartlett chestnut. I don't know if that's what we had in there. We were trying to figure out what the chestnuts were because none of us
Customary
were
Hogue.
around there. But they used to like send him those specimens, so like there's a lot of them in this area, Stanford, up to here.
Okay.
I just thought that was kind of a neat little,
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know there was a
Follow-up.
chestnut propagation program with one of the local garden clubs and pollinator pathway and sustainable Fairfield. So you may want to talk to Mary Hogue.
yeah, there was just chestnuts that
She keeps
we
trying to give me
planted
chestnuts.
there, like we,
Would-
as the commission prior,
You
so
don't like
that's all.
chestnuts.
I don't know what to do with
We
them.
should move on.
They're too hard to crack.
Well, I just
Okay.
mentioned it.
Yeah, bird monitoring, we're done.
All right, okay. Number 6, bird monitoring with Dr. Levy of SHU, June 18, 2025.
Was today?
This was today, and similar to number 8 is also coming up this weekend. We've mentioned it before, but the relationship at Hoydens Hill and some of the other open spaces for servicing her bird monitoring is going very well. we have pretty much in that field there at Hoydens, there's 35 boxes. Majority of which are occupied by tree swallows. We also have house wrens, and then there are a handful of eastern bluebirds. But as far as her research goes, it's going very well, and those that have been out there with her on the commission staff and the public have enjoyed going into, you know, a nesting box and and seeing either eggs or baby birds. So I think it's a good experience in a, you know, again, continuing that relationship with the university.
Yeah.
And that interaction, so.
Very nice. Well, I mean, that's one of the things we like to do, is whether it's Sacred Heart or Fairfield, try to get them and get us and them involved is also very nice, you know? So.
Sacred Heart's a little bit more proactive on that front, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we've established, and Ted knows, you know, a smaller relationship, I'd say, with Fairfield U. But as far as the horseshoe crabs and the birds right now, we seem to be in with the biology department at Sacred Heart, you know, more hands-on at this point. But it's, you know, our foot's in the door, we're taking those steps
Why
to
not? Yeah, that's great.
tap resources. I mean, not too many towns have two universities the size of, you know, Manhattan's one thing with lots of universities, but little Fairfield has two is you know, is impressive and
Having tea with Dr. Levy and other biology professors to talk about
Oh, yeah.
projects
Excellent.
on the campus, so. She's awesome. She's really very, very nice.
Very nice. All right, so number 7 is department staff invasive plant walk with Commissioner Lexinger, June 21st.
It's really fast. I just take them to Lake Mohegan, say, open your eyes, there you are, they're all invasive.
Let's go.
Done, end of walk.
All right, very good. So
A quickie.
that's a quickie. All right. And number 8, we just combined it with number 6, the bird monitoring, but from Dr. Levy at Sacred Heart, June 21st. A little conflicting thing there, but that's okay. And number 9, miscellaneous reports.
I would only say that that staff, full-time staff and our seasonal staff are working hard in all kinds of weather, continuing to maintain the open space as much as we can. Like I said, we're getting new equipment at this point, since we're coming to the end of the fiscal year as of June 30th. And you know, we're looking forward to the new fiscal year, but we'll continue to the work, we have a huge list of stuff, not only just required maintenance, but also a list of projects. So and as it relates to fiefs, we will you're gonna see shortly.
Sticks? You think that's?
It's gonna stick.
I'm already stuck. I'm already.
He pronounces it differently than me.
We're gonna see some action shortly. We're in contract with JJ Brennan, who will connect the sewer. They have filed for permits, so just waiting on a date from them. Once they have appropriate permits from WPCF, you'll know we're out there, because there'll be a road closure, or at least a lane closure on Sturgis Road. They will have to dig about 13 to 14 feet into the road deep and in to make that sewer connection. And as part of that project, we will also be in-house with staff, and combined with assistance from Public Works, will be initiating the bus loop that Commissioner Fain has generously designed some of the exterior space at the facility. So that will begin this probably in the next month or so. So the things are happening. Demo is going to continue in about a week or so. Interior, demoing the bathrooms for initiating the ADA compliance on the first floor. So things, despite how it may look, things are always happening there.
What do you think a timeframe is? Fall?
Fall, we're looking to get some level of function open in the fall, whether it's full or partial. I met with Mill River Wetland Committee staff yesterday and began they're going to start bringing in equipment into the garage space, so they have that on site. And we're really getting, the goal would be to get it at a minimum, a soft opening or semi-functional opening for their fall curriculum. So they can use at least the outside and maybe some of the inside for curriculum in the new year, in the new school year, I should say.
So we want to book some too, pollinator pathway. Do some stuff there.
Any thoughts of having like a
Yeah.
a gathering, some, you know, some.
A coven?
Party.
Yeah, there'd definitely be a ribbon cutting and kind of sound the trumpets type of thing.
Coordinate it with some of the schools or something, maybe have, you know, kids there or something, I don't know. Something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
absolutely. It'll, when it does go fully live or even partially live, I think it'll be a big,
Yeah.
it'll be a big deal. Cause it is, and everyone's so many excited.
Yeah.
So excited, so. Yeah.
All right, just keep that
will
in
happen,
mind
but
for, yeah.
just so the commission knows that,
Nice.
despite no excavator parked out front, things are happening,
Yeah.
so.
Keep
Will it
trying
be
to-
staffed?
It will not be staffed. It'll just be a facility for function.
Yeah, it's a function space, so.
There's no programming. It's whatever environmental education group or nonprofit that wants to use it will have that
Launch.
facility to use it, whether they use the outside or you know, host a classroom event or, you know, instructional event outside or inside.
We could do that too, just as
Yeah.
we're doing the, you know, the invasive plant walks or the, you know, it would be something if
We
you
could
wanted to do.
launch from there
you
as
could do
well.
Something there,
Mhm.
yeah.
So that'll be open.
Yeah.
For public use and geared towards you're not gonna like have a wedding there or, you know.
Maybe we can
cocktail
have one of
party.
our
It'll be
meetings there, our first.
Environmental education.
With a meeting,
Yeah,
how we could cover it with
Broad prints.
video.
well, there will be, we're bringing in internet and Wi-Fi and
Oh,
smart
we need
board.
a
and-
cell phone to record it. We could have a first meeting there.
That's right.
Sit on those benches, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
There's an inside though.
Okay, very good. So
that's all.
that's it from it.
Really quick.
Yes,
If
please.
anyone wants to host any type of guided walk, please let me know because right now that's the last one that we have on our schedule. So we have all the rest of this summer. Anyone wants to do another one? You know, I think you guys know a lot more than you
It's
think
just your
about
trial
these,
run, Sal. You're gonna
about our environment.
have to.
I can do a rat tour.
Even Peter, you could do like a
fall.
nature photography walk.
Smart.
nature photography, yeah.
People were putting out last year.
Cutting yourself short.
Let me know
Okay.
at some point.
Anything? Good. Everybody's good over there at the shop? All your people? You're there?
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna be after next week, looking at 90-degree weather, but
Yeah.
they're tough.
Yeah.
They'll get over it.
Hydration.
Yeah.
Working out, no, all this rain.
Either cloudy and rainy or degrees and humid.
Rain or.
Commissioners, anything from anybody?
All I can report is that the rats are hungry and they're eating.
Okay, so
We're
that's a
getting-
good thing,
we're getting
right?
Good uptake and next to the transfer station, so fingers crossed.
All right.
So how are you gonna tell whether or not it's working?
Based on the consumption. So
They
the
don't-
population and the consumption levels.
Okay,
So as the consumption level goes down, the population's getting smaller. Right now, the consumption is going up because they now know it's there. Once they know it's there, they start consuming it, then the birth control kicks in and the population gets smaller, so the consumption will go down. So
but
the
you're
wa-
going to be tracking, you have some
What we
baseline
do is
of
we track the
rats that were there
percent-
before?
We track the percent of bait that's been consumed
Right.
on a 2-week basis. So every 2 weeks, we track how much has been consumed at each of the stations. We've got a data portal that we're bringing the information into. It's aggregating all that information. The experience in the past has been it's a bell curve. It goes up, they consume a lot more as they realize it's there. And then over time, as the population decreases in size, it goes down. It's not a one-to-one, you know, it's a kind of a, I say, kind of guesstimate thing, but that's the way they're using
So
it.
how are you gonna count the number of rats to prove or disprove that this
Well,
is
based on
working?
consumption, based on.
You have these blocks, for example, the ones that, you know, a person uses.
Yeah.
You would have to like,
Ones get eaten, there's a lot of rats. When all of a sudden you're monitoring it every week and the blocks don't get eaten,
Okay,
Rats are
you
killing
know,
the
they're being
rats.
killed. So my
Yeah,
question would
it's-
be.
It's dead reckoning. It's not
Right.
the most scientific of processes, but rats are very difficult to scientifically track on an individual basis. So we're also thinking of putting a couple trail cams up above a couple of the feeding
Yeah.
stations to get an idea as to what the behavior looks
Must be
like.
like a lot of rats there.
But Ted, how do you compete with the existing bait? I mean, how,
Well, this is the
better
this is the only
tasting
thing that's
and-
out there now. There's, the other stuff's gone.
I'm talking about the town's bait, because when I go past the, like, at the end of Barris Road and your boxes are there, your
Well, those
boxes
other
aren't there.
boxes are empty. Those other boxes were our previous pest control company,
Okay.
and they just didn't take their boxes back. They left them there.
Oh, I see.
But they're empty. All the boxes that have food in them now are ours. And they research, they have a sticker on. them.
Okay, because I just taking pictures, I'm sitting there going, oh, okay, you're in competition down here.
Yeah, no, there's nothing in the other boxes.
All right.
So, you know, the fact that they're eating it is a start, so. a good thing.
Yes.
Anything else from any other commissioners? In that case, have a great July.
Yes.
No meetings in July. We'll see everybody on the first meeting in August. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if